The debate around the famous Springboks bomb squad has once again become one of the biggest talking points in world rugby, and this time the discussion has been sparked by none other than former All Blacks head coach Sir Steve Hansen. As South Africa prepares for another chapter of rugby's greatest rivalry against New Zealand, questions are being asked about whether the Springboks' forward-heavy bench strategy remains a game-changing weapon or whether it carries risks that could be exposed against elite opposition. For years, the Springboks have been praised for their innovative approach to squad management and substitutions, particularly under the guidance of Rassie Erasmus, who transformed the international game by popularizing the 6-2 bench split during the 2019 Rugby World Cup. That strategy allowed South Africa to load their bench with extra forwards, bringing fresh power and physicality into matches during crucial stages. The approach proved highly successful as the Springboks lifted the World Cup in Japan, and they continued to trust the formula during their successful 2023 Rugby World Cup campaign. On several occasions, they even pushed the concept further with a 7-1 split, creating headlines around the rugby world and encouraging other nations to explore similar tactical options. However, while many teams have experimented with these ideas, New Zealand have generally remained committed to the more traditional 5-3 bench arrangement, maintaining a balance between forwards and backs. That contrast in philosophies has become increasingly fascinating as the two rugby giants prepare to meet once again. According to Sir Steve Hansen, the recent clash between the Stormers and the All Blacks provided a perfect example of why relying on a forward-heavy bench can sometimes leave a team vulnerable when unexpected situations occur. The former All Blacks coach believes every team that selects a 6-2 split is effectively taking a calculated gamble. In his view, the strategy can deliver major rewards when everything goes according to plan, but it can also create problems when injuries strike in specific positions. During the Stormers' defeat to New Zealand, the South African side suffered injuries to both of their scrum halves, a scenario that immediately placed them under pressure. Because they had limited specialist backline cover available, they were forced to adapt on the run, with players operating in unfamiliar roles. The result was a loss of structure and attacking rhythm, allowing the All Blacks to take control of the game and eventually secure a convincing victory. For Hansen, the lesson was not necessarily that the 6-2 split is flawed, but rather that every tactical decision comes with consequences. He emphasized that coaches understand the risks before making their selections and that teams must be prepared for every possible scenario. If a side chooses to prioritize additional forwards, they must accept that unusual injury situations could leave them short of specialist backs. That is the trade-off involved in pursuing the potential advantages of a heavier bench. What makes this discussion especially interesting is that South Africa have spent years searching for ways to reduce those risks. One of the most notable examples is the role of Andre Esterhuizen, who has become an incredibly valuable player because of his versatility. The powerful midfielder has often been viewed as a hybrid option capable of providing flexibility across multiple areas of the team. His presence can help the Springboks effectively operate with the benefits of both a 6-2 and a 5-3 bench setup, giving coaches greater confidence when selecting extra forwards. However, concerns emerged after Esterhuizen suffered a head injury during South Africa's victory over Argentina. Any absence for such an influential player could complicate selection plans and force the coaching staff to rethink certain combinations ahead of major matches. The timing of that concern is particularly significant because the rivalry between South Africa and New Zealand is entering another crucial phase. Every selection decision will be scrutinized, and every tactical adjustment could influence the outcome of the series. Hansen pointed out that versatility has long been one of the keys to making a 6-2 split work effectively. Drawing on his own coaching experience with Japanese club side Toyota Verblitz, he explained how having a player capable of covering multiple positions created valuable flexibility. According to him, that type of player allows coaches to take calculated risks because they know there is additional cover available if injuries occur. Without that flexibility, however, the margin for error becomes much smaller. This highlights a broader evolution within modern rugby. Teams are no longer simply selecting their best 15 players and a group of replacements. Instead, coaches are increasingly focused on building squads that can adapt to unpredictable situations. Versatility has become one of the most valuable qualities a player can possess, especially in an era where tactical substitutions can dramatically influence the flow of a match. The Springboks have often been at the forefront of these innovations, challenging traditional thinking and forcing opponents to adapt. Their success has encouraged other nations to rethink long-established selection strategies, but not everyone is convinced that the same formula works for every team. New Zealand's continued commitment to a more balanced bench reflects a belief that flexibility in the backline remains essential at the highest level. That difference in philosophy adds another layer of intrigue to the upcoming encounters between the two rugby powers. While South Africa rely heavily on physical dominance and fresh forward reinforcements, New Zealand often place greater emphasis on maintaining attacking creativity and positional coverage across the entire matchday squad. Neither approach is automatically right or wrong. Instead, each strategy reflects the strengths, depth, and identity of the team using it. What makes rugby so fascinating is that multiple pathways can lead to success, and the debate over bench composition is a perfect example of that reality. As anticipation builds for the next showdown between the Springboks and the All Blacks, fans and analysts alike will be watching team announcements closely. Questions will inevitably arise about whether Rassie Erasmus sticks with the trusted bomb squad formula or makes adjustments based on recent events. The Springboks have achieved remarkable success through innovation, and there is little doubt that their coaching staff carefully evaluate every risk before making a decision. At the same time, the warnings from Sir Steve Hansen serve as a reminder that even the most successful strategies can be tested when circumstances change unexpectedly. Injuries, momentum swings, and unpredictable moments are all part of elite sport, and sometimes the smallest detail can shape the outcome of a major contest. The upcoming rivalry matches will provide another opportunity to see whether South Africa's famous approach continues to deliver an advantage or whether New Zealand can expose vulnerabilities within the system. Regardless of the outcome, the conversation surrounding the bomb squad highlights how rugby continues to evolve at the highest level. Tactical innovation remains one of the sport's most compelling features, and coaches are constantly searching for new ways to gain an edge over their opponents. For the Springboks, the challenge is balancing power with flexibility. For the All Blacks, the challenge is finding answers to one of the most influential tactical developments of the modern era. And for rugby fans around the world, that battle of ideas makes rugby's greatest rivalry even more compelling. As the countdown to the next meeting continues, one thing is certain: every selection decision, every substitution, and every tactical move will be analyzed in detail. Whether the bomb squad once again proves its value or whether concerns about vulnerability become a major talking point, the stage is set for another fascinating chapter in one of sport's most celebrated rivalries.